Hello, everybody, and welcome to Boss Battle Round 25. I am Goron1988, and I am here with.
Brian.
Good. So, yeah,
That really pulled you off the of the moment, didn't you?
just I'll say it here, but there was a bit of reverb, so I'm just being
Ah,
careful. There
okay.
isn't now. We're fine. We're fine. Everything is fine. We'll do it live. But yeah, welcome, Cat. Um, Oh, I do hear a bit of it, so just be careful if you've got it on there.
Let's see because I can't see that it's coming from your stream, so this is something new.
Yeah, unless I'm saying something too much on Discord and you need to turn me down, that's fine. But yeah, anyways, I'll sort of do the start of this, and Cat will sort out on his end. Although I'm worried that it's a part on my end or something like that. But yeah, so our fight is Phantom Ganon versus Volvagia. I mean, this is a fight. When we saw it, we thought about it, and we just thought there's so many interesting pieces to do with this interaction here. And we'll definitely go into them, definitely after the battle itself. And the battle just depends upon these interactions, you know? So yeah, can you speak, Cat?
Hello.
Hello? Good. Fine at the moment, so probably just keep with it and you've probably sorted it. But yeah, so yeah, I was saying how I'm quite hyped for this matchup. What about yourself, Kat? Do you agree with me?
Like, I would say that this fight has a lot of potential to be the most fun to animate to those who are avid animators out there.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll go through the stats. Phantom Ganon, Health C, Power C, Intelligence A, Mobility A, Dimensional Travel S, Dark Affinity B, Electric Magic B. I mean, this is the thing. I'll show Volvagia's stats to compare here, but Phantom Ganon has done really well in a lot of these battles. And it's just that Intelligence A and Mobility A and the special abilities just, they can be used so creatively that they can be used to just either win or draw a ton of matches. Um, yeah. What do you think about Phantom Ganon?
Like Phantom Ganon is a sliver of the actual Ganondorf's essence, so it makes sense that they have done well in the battle so far.
Yeah. So, Volvagia, Health C, Power D, Intelligence B, Mobility S, Flame Breath B, Fire Affinity B. Volvagia has gotten some good wins and draws in the past. Yeah, a good intelligence, great mobility, and some decent special abilities. Volvagia has been a good all-rounder. Um, yeah, I mean, what do you think, Kat?
Well, Vagia has a good spread of statistics, good abilities. I would see Volvagia being the final boss in many other series.
Yes, definitely. And right now, I'm just going to compare the two before I go back to the bait screen. But yeah, the interesting thing about both of these bosses is just how similar they are. With regards to Phantom Ganon, Power C, Volvagia, Power D, but Volvagia has that higher mobility S. Phantom Ganon has a mobility A. The only thing that I would say is that everything is quite boosted up by that Darkness Affinity B, like we said, because we said that Darkness Affinity quite a few times in the past really does boost the abilities of the wielder. So that may come into play here, and yeah, Fire Affinity for Vagia. A lot of it is just the ability to use fire, you know. fire abilities in general and that fire resistance that does help with Volvagia with regards to hiding. Is there anything more you want to say about those comparisons? I mean, I know I'll go into it later, but I just wanted to point out the similarities and the differences.
Yeah, the the comparison of the statistics of these fighters is quite uncanny, but their closeness in the actual game, kind of speaking of game mechanics meta, it makes sense.
Hmm. Yeah, it really does. So let's go to the debate screen. Okay, so first thing is we've got to determine how the room is set up. We've done it similar to this in the past, specifically with Phantom Ganon. Phantom Ganon has the sides of the walls with regards to those paintings, basically having the walls, and Volvagia has the top and the bottom of the arena. Are we happy with that? I believe that gives both our fighters the best light to shine here, the greatest amount of opportunities.
Yes, it's the most convenient for both.
Yeah. And the second thing is to guess who is, well, to guess who is who, to determine who's who in this one. Now, I know, funnily enough, I think that you have played both Phantom Ganon and Volvagia in the past, quite a few times, but I'd assume you're going for Phantom Ganon, Cat.
I have been typecasted, yes.
Yes, you have been typecasted. So I'll be Volvagia here. Okay then. So, under those conditions, I'll just start us off. But both worlds sort of meld together. Phantom Ganon going out of a painting, of course, to see Volvagia there. And it goes on to you. Again, Volvagia is still trying to determine what's going on. And Phantom Ganon has sort of figured it out here. So, you have the first action here.
Well, Phantom Ganon, being the smarter participant of this fight, would have assessed the situation, but would still want to assess the threat level a tad more. And best way to do that in this situation would be to send out a lightning spell.
Okay. So lightning spell. Yep. Volvagia would definitely be seeing that lightning spell. And I think sheer reflex would probably be trying to go against this here. So Volvagia would attempt to dodge it, I believe. Just because Volvagia doesn't fully understand what's going on, and you see what I mean. Like, it would be a sheer reaction on Volvagia's part, I believe. I would believe due to that mobility, Volvagia would dodge this attack, and it would go back to you. Again, if you have anything to say it now.
Yes. Volvagia being very fast, it makes sense that Volvagia would be able to avoid the spell.
Mm.
But following up the spell, Phantom Ganon would start to run towards Volvagia with lance hoisted.
Okay, interesting. Volvagia, under this case, would now know what was happening. Would know that there was an enemy charging right at him. Because of that, basically, Volvagia would go, well, this ruffian isn't as strong as I am, and would just use flame breath straight at Phantom Ganon. So, yeah, I'm gonna leave it to you what you tried to do. It might be tough to dodge this because you're coming up close towards Volvagia. This is how I see it in my mind, and Volvagia is trying a flame sound. Sorry, a flame sound, flame breath. So I'm interested to see what you'll do here.
I would assume that Phantom Ganon knows that they can take the hit and survive, and still continues with the charge.
I'd agree with that. I would agree with that. So Phantom Ganon continues with the charge. Under that case, Volvagia's hit and Phantom Ganon a hit. This is a tough one to sort of figure out, in my opinion. I'd say both would be around minor damage. Trying to think about how the Flame Breath is more powerful than Phantom Ganon's attack. I'd say Phantom Ganon would be slightly more scathed here, sort of being a little bit more on the moderate, but not too much. It's hard to really say. But yeah, I think that Flame Breath would take its toll here. But it would still be on Phantom Ganon here.
Yes. Phantom Ganon would just, after getting the hit in, would just continue and run straight into the nearest painting.
Okay. Phantom Ganon going into the nearest painting. Volvagia would be, basically going, well, this coward, knowing that Phantom Ganon is doing something to hide away. Although I get it, Volvagia does the same thing here, but in the fight and in a lot of other things. But Volvagia would try to burn the painting down. So use Flame Breath on the painting that Phantom Ganon has just gone into. If you want a ruling on that, the painting itself would be destroyed. Phantom Ganon would be dealt no damage. Because I believe Phantom Ganon would, easily be able to go into the painting at speed.
Yes.
So, yeah, we both agree on that. It's on you now.
Seeing that the painting Phantom Ganon just entered is now gone, but Volvagia's attention being still directed towards it, Phantom Ganon would take the painting opposite and charge from that.
Okay.
In essence, behind Volvagia.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. I do believe in this case Volvagia would kind of... It's tough to explain it here, but Volvagia would lose kind of half an action here, because what Volvagia would be doing would be, like, malice infused, trying to destroy that painting. And, if Phantom Ganon went to a painting that was just to the side of it, Volvagia would see it. But I think Volvagia would finish up and go, I'm hearing something behind me, and turn in order to face off against Phantom Ganon. I'm going to say just because there isn't that much time for Volvagia turns to face Phantom Ganon and tries to move a little bit just to not get hit. Yeah, that's what I'm going for. So it's back on you.
Yep. Phantom Ganon would continue the strike with all haste.
Okay. So I wouldn't say that strike is a strike of I wouldn't say that strike is a strike that would have opportunity due to an ambush, because Volvagia did see it. I would say that Volvagia would react by trying to strike Phantom Ganon themselves. So that's what Volvagia would do. Try to face off against Phantom Ganon in melee here. Going, I'm the better melee fighter. Under that case, I'd assume both would hit. With regards to Volvagia, it would definitely hit. Volvagia would be on sort of... I'll go for moderate damage here. Whilst if Phantom Ganon gets hit, I guess Phantom Ganon would be kind of moderate damage, but slightly more on the minor side. Are we happy with that?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, you didn't fully explain your action, Cat. Is Phantom Ganon striking and leaving, or is Phantom Ganon striking and keeping?
It's a lancing attack, so...
Okay, so Phantom Ganon is leaving. Okay, so under those cases, so yeah, is that your action to leave into a painting?
Yes.
Okay, got it. So if that's the case, I think Volvagia would... interesting. I'm trying to think of myself here. Volvergia would jump into the lava pool, noticing how powerful those attacks were and that Volvergia couldn't see where Phantom Ganon was. Volvergia would use the opportunity to actually learn that maybe it's best to wait for Phantom Ganon to go out of that painting. So, all the meantime, there are boulders that will be falling from the sky because of the arena being Death Mountain and what Volvagia is doing. Yeah, what do you do?
Phantom Ganon has the power of patience. He can wait.
Okay. Well, this is an interesting one. We can do dice rolls. We can do any number of other things here. But yeah, it depends how much time we're sort of giving here. Shall we say 15 minutes passes? Roughly?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Under 15 minutes, in my opinion, one of the paintings would have naturally burnt up due to one of the boulders. Are we happy with that?
Yep.
Okay. So even more time goes. Let's give it a bit more time. Well, I'll ask you. Does anything happen at 35 minutes?
And I would say that Phantom Ganon would not leave a painting until the dragon is supposed to show itself. Unless all the paintings are in direct danger of being burned out.
Well, then we'll say another painting's burnt out. That's 3 paintings. Let's say an hour for the next one. Right? So an hour. I still believe that Volvagia could stay under there for an hour. So let's say like 4 paintings are destroyed under an hour. Now this is really the tough one, Kat. I do believe that Volvagia could stay under for an hour, but this is something that I thought we were more going to debate afterwards. But it's how long Volvagia would stay under there. You know what? Under these circumstances, I think I've been a bit too generous with Volvagia here. So I'm gonna say that, and I'll say it in post as well. But this is a very patient Volvagia. After Volvagia was done reading their book, they finally have to decide to emerge. They go, "Urgh, I'm so enraged. I haven't been able to ambush this Phantom Ganon. You know, I have to go out. I have to destroy him. You know, that sort of thing." So now it basically goes to you. You've seen Volvagia emerge, even more enraged than before.
Phantom Ganon would take the painting that's remaining, and it's most behind Volvagia at this point.
Okay.
Would come out of the painting, not charging, but casting a lightning spell.
Okay, let me see. Under this sort of scenario, Volvagia would have a little bit less time, would be under moderate damage. I think Volvagia would try to block it with their flame breath. So that's what I'm going to say. And I believe both would be nullified. It goes back to you.
It makes sense.
Yeah. Good. So it's back on you.
Yeah. Phantom Ganon would want to follow this by immediately getting back into the painting.
Okay. So at this point, Volvagia would have some smarts about them. Like I've said, quite a decently high intelligence. Volvagia wouldn't necessarily aim for the painting that Phantom Ganon would go in, because Volvagia's had some time to think about this. Volvagia would, like, for instance, let's say there was one at 3, 6, 9, and 12. I can't remember how many paintings there are, but let's assume there were 8. And 4 have been destroyed because 4 have definitely been destroyed. Volvagia would... in all fairness, it wouldn't matter, but Volvagia would destroy the one Phantom Ganon is going into, and also move closer to that one, if that makes any sense.
It does in a dragon's view.
Yeah. So that's what Volvagia would do, hoping to hit Phantom Ganon, but also hoping that Volvagia doesn't get ambushed again. Phantom Ganon would be dealt no damage, of course, so it would then go on to you. But basically, Volvagia can now see all paintings, is how I'd rule it. Albeit it's a bit tough because it would be like the corner of Volvagia's eyes, if that makes sense, but can still see, what's happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Phantom Ganon, if he would continue doing this forever, would run out of paintings. But he has a thing which the dragon doesn't, and that's quote unquote lasting stamina due to the darkness affinity. So would try to tire the dragon by doing popping up from a painting and launching another thunder spell.
Okay. Yeah, that is you do have a point there. Yeah, so that would be another thunder spell. At this point, yes, I do agree with you here. Not something I thought about before. But Volvagia, after doing 2 Flame Breath spells back to back, actually does get a bit more damage and goes down to moderate to severe. Tries to block it with a Flame Breath attack, but of course fails. Mitigates a lot of it, but it still means that Volvagia is a bit on the back foot here. Whilst Phantom Ganon is still on moderate damage. So, what does Phantom Ganon do next? Because I explained that Volvagia is trying to defend with Flame Breath and fails.
Yes. Seeing that this tactic is starting to slowly work, it's a time for another roundabout into the painting, eventually leaving another one and another thunder spell.
Okay, so now there's only 2 paintings left, but that's a thunder spell. Yeah, Volvagia is on severe damage now. It depends how Phantom Ganon plays this, is how I'm going to say it. So, I still need to... Phantom Ganon is a lot less damage than Volvagia here, but it depends how Phantom Ganon plays this one out, in my opinion, so we keep going. Phantom Ganon sees that Volvagia is severely wounded. What do you do?
Seeing that the dragon is really wounded at this point, one final charge with Lance should do it, and Phantom Ganon should be able to maintain himself from a retaliation, if there is any.
Yeah, I will leave that up to you, the viewer's discretion, on whether the retaliation does happen, how it happens. But needless to say, the final result is that Phantom Ganon wins this fight. With that final melee attack, no matter how much Phantom Ganon takes damage, it would not be enough for Phantom Ganon to lose this fight at that point. So basically, Phantom Ganon would go through with the attack and win. Yeah. So, yeah, our winner, Phantom Ganon. Going back to the debate screen here. We can talk about this through statistics and everything else, but, what do you want to say, Kat?
Darkness Affinity, again, just brings out the everlasting capabilities. If there is nothing to take away the darkness, it will try to sustain its wielder.
Yes, of course. Again, Darkness Affinity we've seen in so many other things, so again, we've always said that Darkness Affinity can be used to boost one's stats. Pretty much, one thing that I don't say as much is probably if there's some darkness about, and definitely there is some darkness about, even in the middle of a volcano here, and definitely on Phantom Ganon's side of the world. Yeah. Just looking at it here, everything that we've sort of said together about this, um, even forgetting about dimensional travel, that power C boosted with Darkness Affinity, um, makes Phantom Ganon decently more powerful than Volvagia here, doesn't it?
Indeed.
Yeah. So I mean that was winning in itself. Again, one thing that we showed in this specific scenario, Volvagia using Flame Breath did mean that Phantom Ganon was on the back foot here. This was one scenario in which Phantom Ganon could possibly have lost. If that set of actions would have kept continuing between these two combatants. But yeah, I mean, dimensional travel, really good. The dimensional travel itself could have meant it was possible that there was a draw between these two, as we've shown before. Do you want to elaborate on that one with regards to dimensional travel?
Yes, the funny situation which we actually discussed outside of the stream when discussing how this fight could happen was that there was a potential of an indefinite draw if Phantom Ganon would have run out of the paintings and still being within one. The fight would have, in essence, been an eternal draw.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, it would have been an internal draw. We never gave percentages on this stuff, so that was on me, but I'd probably be going something for a 70% Phantom Ganon win, a 20% draw, and a 10% Volvagia win. I don't know if you want to correct me on that. I know this is me saying on the fly, but would you agree with something like that?
Yes, somewhere in that ballpark at least.
Okay, okay, good. But yeah, again, Hiren, the thing is that both Phantom Ganon and Volvagia had good abilities. The thing is that that intelligence meant that even a small edge like the one that Phantom Ganon has, he was able to exploit it. It would have been the same for Volvagia, but intelligence means that you can really use your strengths as much as you can. Yep. Okay, then let's go on to Volvagia. I mean, again, there's a lot of good things about Volvagia. That mobility S, Volvagia was able to dodge one or two attacks. Intelligence B, Volvagia was able to come up with some abilities, some plans in order to try to defeat Phantom Ganon. And again, the Flame Breath and Fire Affinity are good abilities in their own right. It wasn't enough. Um, is how I put it here. Uh, I've
Yeah,
already. Yeah, you go.
yeah. I was about to say that if you would lower the intelligence or mobility of Volvakia even by one on either one of them, I would have seen Volvakia having way slimmer of chances of actually avoiding the attacks whatsoever.
Yes. Um, again, I mean, I know we've given a slim chance of Volvagia for winning this, but if one of those stats would have gone down, one of those core base stats would have gone down, even by one mark, any one of them, Volvagia would have gone from a 10% chance of winning to about a 1% chance of winning. Are you happy agreeing with me on that one, Kat?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, Volvagia's got a good arsenal. It's just Volvagia, one of the problems with Volvagia is that they don't have as big an arsenal as some combatants do. And whilst the statistics are decent, it's not as though the statistics themselves are good all-round statistics. So Volvagia has their strengths, and it can really work well against some opponents, but doesn't have something for every opponent, basically. And just didn't have something against Phantom Ganon today, and was outclassed by Phantom Ganon in one or two stats, really.
Also, Volvagia had one severe weakness, which is not correlated in the statistics themselves, but it's due to the prideful nature of Volvagia itself.
Yes, thank you for reminding me on that. I, for the first half, and again, I did correct myself throughout the fight, but Volvagia was very patient today. Because Volvagia is is a hothead. As you can see in the picture, will do things due to their pride more than anything else. And their pride was sort of, telling them to fight Phantom Ganon. And again, that's why that battle couldn't have been postponed indefinitely. But another thing that we haven't talked about that I'm happy that you reminded me to bring up, we just couldn't really put a sort of level on how long Volvagia could keep in lava for. I still believe that Volvagia could, for an hour, stay in lava. But we both agree that Volvagia couldn't be in lava indefinitely. Do you want to say your opinion on that, Kat?
Yes, I would say that Volvagia could, physically be under the lava for maybe even a couple of hours. It's a dragon after all, but I would say that Volvagia would never do that due to the prideful nature, so an hour would be the absolute maximum.
Yes, I know. I've said about that, Cat. But yeah, it would probably, I think we're probably both agreed on it, although it's tough to say, but Volvagia would probably only be able to, even forgetting about Volvagia's nature, be able to stay under the lava for only a few hours. Definitely 1 hour for Volvagia was discomforting, to say the least. Yeah. Okay, then. Well, yeah. So, that's that. Our winner is Phantom Ganon. And yeah, for the video itself, this is Boss Battle Round 25. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. There were loads of possibilities for both combatants to win, possibilities for a draw. But in this case, just because it was so likely, the result that we said was the result that happened. So, yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna say goodbye from the video itself, so that's goodbye from me. And Kat, I'll let you speak and say goodbye.
Hayato.